I'm going to talk about four things. The first one is video. I use a lot of video in my teaching.
Put the arc across the other leg, and then draw a similar little arc in the center. Where the two arcs cross
And this is the video.
You got it, exactly the center of the angle. Okay? So if we connect the vertex to where those two arcs cross, you've got an angle bisector, my friend.
Okay, video explanations and examples. Videos to explain what I'm doing in class, and I use that to flip the class. And the other thing I do is I use online math programs. I've written a lot of math programs, 40 here. And I use blogs. So I make blogs, my students make blogs. And then the students have math assignments, and those assignments are evaluated using rubrics. So I use an online rubric program, and we'll talk about that as well. All right, so the big goal of everything is to solve real-life problems. And here is a quiz that I gave my students, and it's about how many hairs there are on the human head, and the population of the world, and then then they're asked to figure out how many hairs there are in the world, and it's all having to do with scientific notation.
41 people. Express this as a number rounded to the nearest 1,000 people inside.
And then, so this was a quiz,
So
and
the
then
first
the
thing we're
students
gonna do
I mark the quizzes and I send them home, and the students are asked to make their corrections, so to redo the questions where they've made mistakes, to redo the questions from beginning to end, after watching a video explanation of that question. We do a lot of problem solving. This is a problem, typical kind of problem where I give this to my students and I ask them to come up with a solution, and I ask them to actually make a video of this. This leads to math projects, or we do some math projects. This is a math project we did where they had to build model rockets and launch them, and they had to build a altitude finder. And using trigonometry, using sine law and cosine law, they had to figure out how high the rocket flew. Then they make math videos. So I give them projects, I give them problems to work on, and they have to make video solutions. And this is a project that a student made.
State this equation and new information. So
we're going to look at some of these things.
Close bracket, x plus y, close bracket, which is also angle z, equals 180 degrees. Let's reduce this. So it's now 2x plus 2y.
Flipping the class. So I make math videos, and math videos of the notes, math videos of the explanation, math videos of the lecture, and I send the students home to watch those videos and to take notes. So here's the class, and notice the students are all working and everything. And this is a student at home, and she's watching a video and she's taking notes. So they get video explanations and examples.
Just like that.
And the students then decide when they're going to learn. Okay, so they're not learning all at the same time. They learn at their convenience. They can watch the video on the bus or the train, or in the comfort of their own home, that's what I expect them to do. Okay, so they decide when to learn, and they can stop the lesson. If there's an interruption or something, they can stop it. They can pause it.
All right, stop, collaborate, and listen.
And they can repeat parts, they can go back and they can watch the whole lecture again, they can use it for their review. Okay, so they have total access to that lecture. And the other advantage to flipping the classroom is they can't distract others, and we're going to talk about that. And they can control their own distractions, right? Of course there's distractions, and so they can control how they're distracted and when they're distracted. Or they can control when they're doing their lesson. They can control all of that. Then the students are asked to take notes. So they watch the video, they take notes while they're watching the video. Okay, this is students' notes on completing the square. And then those notes are blogged. So they put it online, and this is a picture of a student's blog. I do a lot of blogging, and the kids do a lot of blogging. We're going to look at how to make a blog. So there's all kinds of different free blogging sites, free things they can use. So many are available. So they make their blogs, they post things like their notes, their aide-memoirs, So here's a student's blog post. This is her ed memoir. And the advantage of showing each other's ed memoirs is the kids get to see what each other's doing. So if someone's making a really great ed memoir, the others can learn from that person. Then they post their video assignments on their blogs.
Square A, B, C, D has an area of 100 square centimeters. W, X, Y, and Z, with area is inscribed.
And then I asked them to tweet each blog post. So they're collaborating with each other, they're sharing with each other, and they're using Twitter to show each other their work and to show me their work. So it lets me know when they've done their homework and I can go and check their blog posts. And I asked them to also share inspiration. So if they find something inspiring, and I had a grade 7 student went out and found this really neat video, and she posted it on her blog, and so I pointed it out to my grade 9s and they went and saw it. So we'll be looking at video I make, videos the students make, videos that other people make. Okay, and what that's all about is Bloom's taxonomy. Now knowledge, yeah, knowledge is important, but imagination is a lot more important than knowledge, as Einstein says. So it's getting to the top. We want to get to the top of Bloom's pyramid, but to get to the top, we gotta start at the bottom. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. How do you get to the top of Bloom's taxonomy? Well, you gotta fill in the lower ranks first. So same way, practice, practice, practice. So you can't start at the top, and you need to fill in the bottom. We're going to be looking at that. And how do you fill in the bottom? Well, how I fill in the bottom is a lot of drill work. So I made all these math programs to help my students with their basic understanding of what it is that we're learning. And these are mastery programs, and we're going to be talking about them as well. Okay, those math programs are linked to a database that saves the students' results. And then the teacher can then check the students' work. So we'll be looking at that. Each program is linked to videos. So there are videos explaining exactly what we're doing.
Hi, welcome to level 1. We're plotting points. Here we're being asked to plot the point -6,9. Okay, so before we start, this is the x-axis, all right, and the y-axis is up here, okay? When you draw an x, you go.
That's a video of me explaining how to plot points. So that all leads into the educational philosophy. So these are the things I believe. All students want to do well. All students want to get the question correct. And so all students want to answer challenging, meaningful, and interesting questions. And, I think we all have to believe that. Now, sometimes they're stopped from wanting these things, and we look at why. So we're going to discuss that as well. Okay, and my goal in doing that is to get the students to teach each other. And I think we've all seen this. We learn 10% of what we read, 20% of what we hear, 30% of what we see, 50% of what we both see and hear, 80% of what we experience personally, and 95% of what we teach. Now, these aren't accurate, hard and fast numbers for every scenario and every situation. The question of how accurate is this is not what we're going to be discussing. Look, if you get a student to read something, sure, their brain's going to be operating, their brain's going to fire off some neurons, and they're going to retain some information. But it's nothing compared to if you can get one student to teach another student, that student that's teaching, their brain is going nuclear. They're using all their brain to teach. That's the goal in what I do. Okay, so I get them to make videos, I get them to teach each other, I get them to collaborate in class, and that's the goal of the flipped classroom, is to get them to work together, to get them to work hard together, to get them to do challenging and interesting questions. Okay, and they do that by making their math videos. Okay, and then once they make their math videos, I evaluate those. So I do that using Rubrics. I use an online rubric program that I made called the Rubric Grinder. You can get me from not having a rubric to having a rubric to getting my students' names on those rubrics to marking the rubric in a matter of minutes. So it really speeds up the time it takes to make a rubric. It's very open-ended. It allows you to make many different kinds of rubrics, and it allows me to leave feedback, marks, and we're going to be looking at that. Okay, and then the results are emailed off to the students, and they get their feedback. And get feedback and learn and teach each other. And that's what it's all about. So that's what I'm going to be talking about, and it's going to be hands-on. We're going to learn how to make videos. We're going to learn how to make blogs. We're going to learn how to use my math programs and use other online math programs. We're going to learn how to make rubrics and use rubrics online and use online rubric programs and use my rubric program as well. So I'm going to show you everything that I do, and we will have some fun, and we will collaborate, and we will discuss all of these things. So that's what we're going to be doing on the 10th, and I hope I've answered all your questions. If you have any more questions, feel free to send me an email, greg@trafalgar.qc.ca. Have a good day.